Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this podcast, we are going to discuss how one can become a product designer. So we have Saish, mentor, speaker, and currently working as a product designer at GrowthX. Previously, he has been working as a founding member at Wrky AI and also a product designer. So today we are going to discuss how one can become a product designer, from where they can learn, what is product design, and much more. So let's get into the video. Thanks a lot, Saish, for accepting and coming here, and thanks for your valuable time. So
Thank
let's
you so
start our
much.
podcast.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you. Looking forward to some amazing conversations happening. Really,
Thank you,
really.
Saish. So I've curated a list of questions. So I would ask those questions to you one by one. So the first question is generally in India, right? I see most of the engineers transition into product design where they discover or get to know about product design. So how did you discover product design?
So for me, usually I was a pretty, more of a regular student till third year of my college. So no goal, nothing, just coming to college every day, just doing practical assignment and everything. So randomly, I just saw one, Instagram reel that people were creating some really amazing creative stuff out of Adobe Photoshop. So I just had a curiosity, how do people create this much of creativity with a single, like a 1 hour effects? I don't know how they have made it actually. So it was just in my head ki, okay, I want to try this maybe someday. But in the end, I was just dreaming ki, okay, I'll be placed in some MNC, I'll be working 9 to 5, I'll be just doing everything. But yeah, that is what usually a lot of people dream of when they're in the first and second year of their college. But the time when reality hits you and you realize ki, okay, there is something else that we should also try rather than only going towards tech and develop. Then I thought, ki, okay, let's give it a try. So I still remember there was an event happening in my college. We used to call it Infotsa. So teacher came up and asked, is anyone interested in designing the posters for the events which are upcoming? And I mindfully, without knowing any tool or without having any knowledge about how things work, I said, okay, I'll volunteer. That night I stood up and I see, okay, how to use Photoshop, how to use Illustrator to design something. And okay, teacher just gave me an assignment, okay, just you have to create a promotional banner which will be displayed in front of the department. I still remember I had made the shittiest design of my life for the first time and I gave it to him, but he still accepted, because in colleges we mostly don't look at design, we just look at if is it delivering the content. So yeah, that was my time when I stepped into design. From design, then I keep exploring and exploring. I'm still exploring. So it's not like things are ended. Okay, yaar, abhi to kuch karne ke liye nahi. Okay, no, no. They're like, I think they're like 20, 30, 40 more years of learning left for me, to be honest, just telling you. So yeah, that was the beginning. That was the pilot. And still then I'm just trying to explore how you can do some amazing stuff with just a design knowledge. You can implement that in creating a functional and really intuitive product. So that was the journey of engineering to design, how it happened.
Got it. Very interesting. Like you started with doing some basic graphic design. Now you are a product designer.
Yes.
Got it. And the next question is, what is the difference between UI design versus UX design versus graphic design?
All right. So doesn't matter UI, UX, graphic, all of this fall under the same umbrella, which is design. Basically, design is universal, whether it is more of an industrial design or software design. Design is design. But the difference between the three things that you have said, let's segmentalize things: UI, UX, and graphic. I'll give an example. Suppose you're building, let's say, Burj Khalifa. You're the contractor, you have given a contract. Okay, I have to build this particular concrete building which will scrape the sky and which will have particular impact in building the country's economy. So, what you would do first, you'll just map out the land where you have to build the entire architecture. You'll figure out what kind of foundations will you be putting it in, and what kind of concrete, what kind of material, what kind of everything you're putting. So first, what you're doing, you're creating a research spec. Okay, this is what I want, and this is what it will do, and this is what outcome will it bring to the country. Right? and then you get involved with more of a creative side. Okay, how should it look, how should the structure be? That comes under more of a visual and structural design. I'll tell you how this real life concept can be similar, like 99% similar to the like the designs that you see in the mobile applications or web applications. I'll tell you that. But this is the definition I would preferably give for the product and UI UX design. But if you want a proper real life example of what is graphic design, so let's say you have a house, you have a building, you have created a board. Okay, come here and display your advertisement. So this is one of the part. I'm not saying there is multiple different ways to explain graphic design. This is my way to just put it out. You have an empty canvas. You have to put some message there that would convey something to users, and that would attract people or that would inform people of what's happening or what can be happening if you have enrolled in this particular product or something. So graphic design is more of a converting a single message or a vision into a design, and that design to be distributed to a large variety of people so that they can come and learn, or they can come and see, or whatever they can have a knowledge okay, this is happening, this is what happened. And now about UI UX design. So in user interface and experience, let's only talk about UX for now, because interface is more of a like what you look, but experience is what you feel. So I'll say UX is divided into like 4 to 5 different categories, but naming the basics, one is visual interaction and motion designs, and also UX research. Basically, research come first about everything. So as I tell you, as I give you the previous example that you will be building a Burj Khalifa, you have to know what kind of foundations and everything, what kind of concrete you're using, what kind of labor you are using, what kind of work they are doing. That involves more of a that becomes more of a spec requirement when you're building a product. What is your ICP? What kind of people are we dealing with here? Let's do a user survey. What kind of users will actually be using the app? What was the positive, negatives? What do they like? What do they want to solve? What is the real life problem which is happening? That comes under more of a, so what's happening you see here, that real life example is transitioning similarly into the virtual world as well, the world of product design. And I think that example would have been concluded how more of a product design or UI UX design is more of inclined towards functional prospect of what's happening in a product is a virtual product, a software product, it can mobile application, whatever. And graphic design is a layer on top that is connecting people to the product, or that is connecting people to some message that certain people want to display. So
Got it.
yeah, that would be my personal definition. There will be multiple, I'm open to everything.
Understood. So just to summarize, graphic is more of like the marketing content, social media posters, which we use to convey the message about the product.
we generally
UX is
use
more.
we generally
Hmm.
used to graphic also involves creating art, digital arts, creating some painting. Everything is graphic design, by
Okay,
the way the poster you
illustration,
see,
something like that.
everything is graphic design. But every physical thing that is working is an experience, it's a UX. The door behind you is also UX, right? So
Hmm.
yes.
Got it. And UI is more of the visual aspect, like how the user
Yeah.
touches, like whatever he see, and UX is more of how he feels when using the
Yes.
product. Perfect. And the next question is, what are the top 5 skills, or like top things that a product designer should be well versed in?
Cool. So giving a restriction of 5 won't be a good way to do that, but yeah, I'll say the very basic thing for a product designer is to just, you know, people call it empathizing, but I'll calling it like jumping in the people's shoe. Okay, let's see, I as a product designer, I'm comfortable in my house. I don't know what problem the other person is facing from the particular app or software that he's using. So I have to get up and step in his shoes. I have to clear out all my biasness. Okay, I like the dark modes, or I like this button here, I like that button here. I have to just forget everything. I know anything about UI UX. I just think, okay, what is the job to be done? Is it happening? And how many clicks are being taken while that particular JTBD is achieved. So that comes in a more of a empathizing. Okay, are you able to empathize the? Are you able to connect the problem? Okay, that person is facing this and this problem, and how can I solve it? So more often identifying the problem and figuring out the solution. The second thing would be more of a, your hands should be more creative. I won't say that this is like limited people can be creative. No, everyone is creative in their own. We all know how to dress. We all know how to just wear clothes. We know what kind of color combination suits us. So what we can do is we can learn what kind of colors or structures or layout that particular product or mobile application can have. So being creative, empathizing with people, and third is the ability to do research, by the way. And this is the most important one. Without research, if you build something, it's gonna fall apart. So before creating anything, you should have map of everything, what could go right, what could go wrong, what would be required, and what is required in future, and what is required in upcoming versions. And you should have everything noted in a particular documentation. Just because if you get stuck somewhere, if the team gets stuck somewhere, we can just go back and access, okay, this is how it's supposed to be done. And if we forget something, we can add it to the documentation. So this is what we call more of a person who just keeps records and documentation. So documenting, empathizing, being a creative mindset. Also, then fourth thing would be more of a software tool knowledge. Again, it's not the tool, it's the design. Similarly, even if you're fighting, even if you're flying a fifth generation aircraft, let's say Su-57, the Russian space aircraft, or you're flying a MiG-21. If you have watched the movie Top Gun, there was a dialogue in that particular movie. It's not the plane, it's the pilot who wins the dogfight. So it's not the tool. Some people would like to use Framer. Some people use Photoshop. Some legends use. So some people use Figma. Some legends use Photoshop, which is a bit difficult, by the way. But yeah, it doesn't depend. But I usually prefer ki I'll be using Figma only because I have Figma, a close relation with Figma. I'm also the community advocate for Friends of Figma chapter for my current residency, which is Nagpur. So yeah, I'll be biased towards using Figma only. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I'm coming up with. It and yeah, fifth one, it's not a skill, but your urge to learn something new. Okay, मुझे Figma आ गया. I know how to use Figma. Why should I learn Framer? Why should I use what is? Why should I know what is Framer motion? Why should I discover other products if I know Figma? Why should I learn a new design system? Why should I go? Why should I try Apple's design system or while I'm only comfortable with Material UI? Well, it just an urge to explore something new. That is the most important. So, urge will do is it will push you. Research will build you. Creativity will expand. So yeah, that was the particular explanation for your top 5 skills. But yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. By the way, without these five, we are gonna fall anyway. Without research, foundations are weak. Without creative, doesn't matter how good is the research, but the output is not shown. Similarly, without curiosity, you are not going forward. So yeah, that would be the fact.
Got it. I think the next quick follow-up question I might have is you told about Friends of Figma. So what is that community about? And second is you told about design system, right? So what is design system?
Okay, cool, nice question. So coming on Friends of Figma. Friends of Figma is more of an umbrella under Figma itself. So Figma has created more of the user groups, basically, who are friends of Figma. The name speaks for itself. So it's a community across the entire globe. In India also we have around a lot. We have a lot of communities. If you go on friendsofFigma.com, you will be able to see Nagpur there, and you'll probably see that I'm the community advocate for Friends of Figma. You can reach out to me there. So basically, we have a vision to create a design awareness. Ki, okay, there is something more than doctor and engineer. So that is the basic explanation I can give. But it's just we are on a mission to create and educate people about design, not curate and educate people about design. So yeah.
Got it. So anyone can join Friends of Figma by visiting the website. So I would attach the link in the description.
Yeah, sure. if you're from any place, like Figma, Friends of Figma is everywhere. You have to just go to friendsoffigma.com, search your region, and you can just easily join the group if there is one. Or if there is not, you can just apply for becoming a community advocate for your place as well. So that's
Got
really
it.
amazing.
Thank you. And the next one is, what is design system, right?
Yeah. So design system is basically okay. Again, pulling the question to a regular real world example. When you're building a house, you will see na, ki what kind of doors, what kind of plywood, or what kind of interior will you be having, what kind of color sheet would be there, how will the hall living room painting be, what kind of drawers will kitchen have, what was the color of drawers, will it have a chimney, will it have a fridge. Cool. So whenever you enter a house, you see color and interior. That color becomes more of a styling, and that interior becomes components. So design system is just collection of colors and components that will be used across the platform, whatever you're building. So yeah, basic example would be that.
Got it. So they are just like a set of components which you use to
Yeah,
maintain
it's just to
uniformity in the
keep
product.
reuse and have a established branding guidelines, so that we just don't mess up with the more of a branding aspect.
Got it. Cool. And the next question I have is, what are the, so you told about tools also, using tools as a designer, right? So what are some of the top tools that a product designer use, and what are some tools that at least a designer who have started learning should learn, like the basic ones first?
Yeah. So even if you're going from 0 to 1 or 1 to 10 or 10 to 100, Figma is the good to go option for my personal opinion, because it is simple and minimal. First of all, there's not a lot of sections and layouts, as in look at there is photo in there, like it's there in Photoshop. Figma is really easy to. So I started with Adobe XD, by the way. Figma was not my first good to go good to go option. I know I started with XD because I watched the YouTube tutorial, because the guy was making some different text animation using Adobe XD. So I just installed. Okay, I want to see how it works, and it was also free back then. I don't know what happened. I used to hate Figma for around 6 months, because XD was pretty smooth to use. Like it was bright and it was vibrant. But Figma, I used to say, okay, Figma is not dull क्यों दिखता है? Why Figma is so dull? The colors are yellowish, but everything. But then I realized, okay, at some point my eyes hurted while using Adobe XD. And then I jumped onto Figma. Okay, let's give it a try. And I was really comfortable. I used the tool for first time. I didn't have any problem just using it. So my opinion would be, just try it out. Just explore what all tools, what they do. It's not going to cost you any money, by the way. If you want to go and draw a square, go draw a square. It's not going to cost you any money. So just explore and explore. So Figma is the good to go option. I'll say if you're going 0 to 1, 1 to 10, 10 to 100, doesn't matter. Go with Figma. Again, this is a personal opinion. Some people like to use Framer as well. And some people use, well, there are a lot of new tools in the market right now. But yeah, Figma. Also, one thing, product design is not only design, it's about ideating as well. So Figma also has FigJam, where you can create workflows, user flows, etc. But also I sometimes use Whimsical and Miro, just in case ki, okay, I want to create a particular mind map of how things would be flowing. What is the workflow like? What's happening? What is the call to action happening? How many, like basically determining what all interactions are happening in the product, how the user journey will be like. So I'll recommend, if you have interest in Figma, Figma has FigJam and Figma basically. So you can design an idea as well, but also maybe give it a try to Whimsical, because it's really mind blowing what you can do with Whimsical. So yeah.
Got it. So the next question is how to showcase your work as a product designer, right? So I think I've seen a couple of websites where you can post your designs. Even Instagram, I've seen people, and even
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people create their own
I amazing.
portfolios.
Got it, got it. I won't say go with Instagram. Instagram is more of a public centered. It's not more of a business centered. So if your aim is to brand yourself, then Instagram is good for you. But your aim is to get hired, maybe not go with that. Try something more professional. See, again, That depends on you. If your Insta content is really amazing, that is good for you and that will cause a good impact. But if you're starting from 0 to 1, maybe you can give it a try and first create your entire portfolio in Figma. I'll say, not the website. Just what do you want to display, or whatever tool you want, Figma or whatever. Put it out, and just either have it placed in Behance or either have it in Notion. Okay, I personally recommend there are a lot of free tools as well which lets you create your portfolio. But I personally use this Notion because I yeah no I don't know why I actually use Notion, but it's really giving what I want. Cool. I don't wanna put everything out in a portfolio, which is a free tool by the way. Notion is free to use for you and it's really amazing. It had a lot of layouts. But I personally recommend you can just go on YouTube or Google or search for top 10, portfolio website, portfolio creating tools or something. It will give you like a bunch, 2023. But again, if you are going from, um, let's say 1 to 10 or 10 to 100, maybe have a personal website as well, which certainly displays what you are. Again, so a shout out to Atul Kola. So he has the best, I think, the funniest and the best portfolio website. He's a product designer. I could have seen his website, and it's really amazing what he pulled out. So it's just your website is showing what you can do. You don't have to show them projects. So maybe you can plan for that. I'm also planning for something like that, and I'll definitely put a launch when it's done. So look forward to see something amazing soon. So yeah, but I currently use Notion. Yeah.
Got it. So, and one common thing I've seen in this portfolio website is like people ask, what are the case studies you have done? UX case study. So, what does generally this UX case study means, right? So, what are the things that are there in the case studies?
So case study is basically okay. Consider your Okay, let me pull it out as a good example for you. So recently I saw a person putting out a case study for Grow. I'll tell you how his layout was like. So he started with how the user flow is for a single action what the user wants to perform. Okay, I'm person A, I want to buy stocks. I'll on the bottom it's stocks. Then I'll search, filter, select, buy, and hold. That this is user journey one. For mutual fund, it will be different. For adding money to grow wallet, it's different. So it's a combination of what all interactions is happening and how it's happening, plus what can be done better to make that thing happen. So if it's using 5 clicks, why can't it use 4? Case study is bringing down everything which is happening in a product, breaking it down into segments, breaking it down into user stories, creating another layer on top of it, what could have been done better, and publishing it out in the public. Basically, this is what the process is involved. So I have done a case studies in few. I think I've done Airbnb once when I was in final year, I think, of my college. I was just really curious to do one, and I did one. I think it's available on my LinkedIn as well. So yeah, just breaking down everything into segments and aligning back and trying to see what could have been done better. Even if you don't
Got
put out what could have been done better, still it's a case study because you're studying, you're breaking it down, you're studying it. So yeah, that is what a case study would be from my
It's
perspective.
like a tear down of a product, right? You say what UX is good in this or something
Yeah,
like
more of a UX. So suppose you're breaking down, maybe if you want to break down this earphones, you'll just see, okay, इसमें earphones है, फिर उसके अंदर speakers है, then everything what is inside. You're just breaking it down. You're studying what's happening and how it's happening. That is the case study I'm doing for this earphones. So yeah, that is it.
that. Understood. And the next question I have is, okay, now we have our portfolio ready. Next we start applying for jobs or getting hired, right? What are generally the interview rounds for a product designer? So what are the common rounds according to your experience?
Okay, so this question, I think, so not every designer would be getting this many sets of interviews as well. But I think generally there would be 2 or 3. But very first round, I can definitely make you sure that you're gonna get a project to do. It's similar to tech. You have been given a chunk of code, you have to tell what's happening. So similarly in design, it's you have been given a problem statement, a business problem. You have been given, okay, this is what we are looking for. A spec requirement basically, okay, this is my problem and this is what I want. Okay. And but you have to present the solution to them, which involves those problems solved plus which solves for the business outcome. So you'll basically get a simplish problem statement which doesn't involve more than 2 to 3 days. You have to just brainstorm your research, maybe do some user interviews, create some user personas, create some user stories, maybe create like everything on a single document so that you can present it to someone if he wants to take a look at what kind of research you're doing. But the very first stage will be the research. You can spend at least, if you have 3 days, spend 1.5 or 2 days in research only spend third day in designing if you're really good at design. If you're not, then you can divide it by 50-50 to 1. But research also matters a lot. So yeah, the very first round would be just solving a business problem with design. Yeah. And second and third would be not be like every companies will have different round. Some can have 5, 4 HR rounds and everything. It depends. But second round would be just overview of what you have built. So yeah, then it can be x to the power n, depending upon what kind of company you're doing for.
Got it. I think next round they might discuss or give a on-spot problem, say, "Ki how will you design or something
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
that."
mean, it again,
That
it
kind
depends on what kind
of
of company
whiteboarding.
you're joining. If you're building a joining a startup, then it would be really harsh process sometimes. You'll be pressure tested. You have been given only 24 hours to create something that would have been taken 3 days or something. So yeah, that is how it is done. For MNCs, it might be little bit easy. It might be a 2 interview around something. But for bigger companies like Google, it might be 4 or 5 interviews. So it depends. Again, depends on company. But you have to be ready
Got
for
it.
whatever comes at you. But the first round, I think 90% is going to be safe.
Okay. Cool. Yep. And the next question is, what are some of the free resources which you had used to learn product design that aspiring product designers and students can start?
Cool, cool, cool. So I still remember. Okay, it might sound cheap or something, but yeah, I personally studied about design and how to use Figma and how to use different concept. Everything what I do is by YouTube. I just
Okay.
go and search on YouTube how to do this, how to do that. I don't go to professional websites like Skillshare, Udemy, or something to just okay. I have to go and do this 25-day boot camp. You know, a lot of people come and say, ki, "Hey, come and join the 25-day boot camp. You'll be a UX designer." Nah, bro. See, you don't want someone to teach you every time what you have to do. Sometimes, okay, you just go and look out. Ki, okay, this is how we do it, and then you'll do it more efficient. But if someone teaches me ki kaisa karna, then it becomes
Hmm.
like more of a student. Ki, okay, sir is telling me that, and I have to understand. But if you go and explore, you will figure out millions of resources out in the internet for you, ready and prepared like a Michelin star dish. So my go-to resource is always YouTube because you can find everything there. Even if you want to try how glass morphism is done or how design system works, just search on YouTube. You'll get hundreds of content creators with brilliant content. So I'll recommend one channel. It's not more of a design based, but I'd recommend go for like FUTUR Future is the name of the channel. You can just go and check it out. It's a blue color logo and it's really amazing content. So yeah, that is one. And I think that would be pretty much it to get you curious enough to explore different channels. So again, I personally would prefer okay, YouTube, Future, but even if you want, you can follow some other content creators who are doing great stuff with design. So yeah, it depends on you, but yeah, go to for me is always YouTube. Plus, I also have okay. So I've told you that I had a keen interest toward design in third year of my college. So in end of third year, I also purchased a Udemy course of the Interaction Design Foundation by Google. That was really amazing, but it was more of a theoretical. But theory is also sometimes important, like 70 to 75% times necessary to know while you're designing, because you should know what you're designing and how it's going to impact people. So yeah, maybe also try that course again. I think it was free back then. You have to just check it out. UX design foundations, basics of UX design by Google. It's in Coursera. Even if you don't want to spend money, if it's paid, you can also go for the educational plan that Udemy has to offer. It will give it to you for free. But I think you can watch first and second modules for free. I think that, and that would be enough for you. I think.
Got it. I think I would get all the links and attach them in the description. That should help.
Yeah, cool,
And
cool. I'll just provide you the links. It's cool.
And the next question I had is, okay, you told about different things like motion design, interaction design, etc. Right? So what are these fields like? What is your advice? Like one should start specializing in these fields from initial days. Like they should say, yeah, I should become an interaction designer, or I should become a user researcher, or they should start generically as a product designer and then improve on one of these skills, like specialize on one of these skills. So what are also other fields available apart from motion,
Cool.
interaction, user research?
So there is a terminology called as Jack of all and King of one. Jack of all means you should be a generalist in knowing everything and how it's functioning, and you should be able to do mind blowing work in every segment. But the king of one would become like, okay, no one can defeat me in this particular domain. So for me, it can be, I'll say it's more of a research and visual. I also like interaction, but it's boring to do interactions as well. But yeah, it's a lot of rough work that we have to do. But yeah, it's fun. Everything is fun. So you have to first start with the parent chain, which is product design, or if you want to call it UI UX design, depends on what you want to call it. Some people would say product design, UX design is different, but yeah, in the end, you're just doing is you're creating an experience. So first comes experience, then comes the subclasses. You have to first knock every door. How are you doing it? How research is happening? How visuals are made? How interactions happen within the product? How visuals happen within the product? These four gates. Then you just okay. I like everyone, but I like this one more. Just pick that. You don't okay, I'll only do visual design. I don't care about research. I don't care about interactions. Then you're gonna again, my friend, you're gonna go fall back. Because it's really necessary for you to just know everything, but be the best at one thing. Even if you wanna be the best at two, it's cool. Even if you wanna be a best at four, it's amazing. But you should have okay, this is my name and I'm specialized for this. So yeah, that is it. So it doesn't matter if you want to go for motion, interaction, visual, or research. In the end, what you're doing is you're creating an experience. So yeah, you will still be called as a UX designer.
Got it. And next common question is, AI is booming nowadays, right? There are a lot of
Ah,
tools, ChatGPT. Even in design, there are a lot of tools that are coming. So will AI take over product design, right? So what is your view on that?
cool. Amazing question. I'll see how to answer this in the most mindful way I can. So tell me something. If AI can do everything, right? It can make you a smoothie. It can make you like wake you up in the morning. It can it can do anything for you. It can chat GPT. It can generate content for free. It can anything. But AI is not a human. Unless if you are building like robot chitti level stuff, then okay, we are backing up. But currently, what I see, we are far away from achieving that. AI is good for generating NFT, creating arts. It's all good. But when it comes to experience, it becomes more of a humanly thing. AI will not be able to easily empathize with me. If I'm feeling sad, there is an Alexa sitting behind me, by the way. If I say, I'm feeling sad, Alexa, I'm feeling sad, she'll just do something, play some music, or maybe tell me some quote or something, because it is already pre-programmed. But design is something key, okay, probably a bad example of AI by saying Alexa, because there are multiple different, let's consider it DALI, something. There are multiple. But again, it depends because AI is not that advanced yet. I won't say coming it in coming 10, 20 years as well, by the way. But yeah, maybe some brain Einstein level person comes and he builds an AI which can replace humanity, but then yeah, then not even design everything on every human is gonna be in crisis. But I see AI killing the jobs for developer. I think it's fine because development is more of a structured approach. You have libraries and languages set up in a way to make something because it's code. But design is something that is wild and that is creative. And I think AI can learn how to make components, but AI cannot learn is how to empathize with someone. That is it.
Got it.
Yeah,
Like
AI is
AI
good for
cannot understand other humans,
AI
like
can't
how a
understand other
human
humans.
can.
It might, but it will just give generative answers, which is basic.
Correct.
If I say, okay, I'm feeling sad and Manoj, you'll just quote me something. Okay, okay, don't lose hope. You're gonna do best. That is not gonna support me anyway. But other one is okay, dude. You can like maybe going out, having some time, hanging out. Just everything you can convert your feelings into design. This is what the capacity a product designer can do. So yeah, I don't think soon enough AI is gonna do that, by the way. But I do feel ki AI might also replace more of a structured based jobs, which is more of a developer type roles or something. I see that coming soon. But for design, it's really far from what should be.
Got it. Uh, the last question is, any advice you want to give to the aspiring product designers or anyone who's trying to transition to a product design role?
Okay, if you're transitioning, then good. But if you're starting from scratch, only one advice is just to explore. Keep exploring. Don't stop. If you stop, then you're gonna be in your comfort zone, and it won't push you to learn something new again. Just keep exploring and keep trying to feel ki, how is this happening? How is CRED UI look the way it is? Why someone has never tried that before? Why cards are designed like this? Why navigations are done like this? Just question everything and explore everything. Just be a rancher from Three Idiots, and then you're good to go. You don't have to just make a rocket science report, write down equations or something. You just have to think how it's working, how the door handles are working, how the cup holder is working, how everything is working. Feel the experience and explore how to improve it. Then you're good to go. Same for people who are aspiring to become product designer, or same for the people who are beginning. It's always exploring. It will eventually lead up to growth. So yeah,
Got it. Just to summarize, like be curious, explore why things are made the way they are, why
why is this
designs are.
happening? Just question WHY. Bus,
Yeah,
nothing else.
cool. I think yeah, I have answered, like I've got answers to all my questions, and we are wrapping the podcast. Thanks a lot for your time. Thank you, Saish. Thank you, everyone. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to put it in comments, and Saish and I will answer those questions.
Yep,
Thank
really
you.
amazing.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, had a fun time, Manoj. Thank you for this.
Bye.